All right, this is big time. Going to cover some defensive gun use today, a couple stories out of Philly, and then we got a cop beating up a girl that punched him in the face, and everyone's saying, oh, the Paul Blacks. And we'll take a look. I can't really show the video, so it'll get my channel popped. But as always, I covered defensive gun uses. This is the Gun Violence Archive. And there's already been, I don't know if you knew this year, but already been 12 mass shootings. But there's already been 15 defensive gun uses. I primarily cover these, and we'll get into those right now. Coming out of Texas for the first one. Bosque County homeowner shoots intruder in the leg. Bosque County, Texas, a Valley Mills man was arrested Tuesday after a homeowner shot him during an attempted burglary in Bosque County. According to the Bosque County Sheriff's Office, a little before 7, deputies were called out to a home on County Road 3505. There they found a man, later identified as William Strouser, shot in the leg and being held by gunpoint by the homeowner. Homeowner told deputies Strouser rammed his vehicle through their locked gate and aggressively attempted to break into the home. BSCO said the homeowner shot Strouser in the leg in response. Wow, he must have been a good shot. That's a very nice homeowner. Homeowner was disarmed and deputies rendered first aid to the suspect. Oh, well, that's good. I'm glad you disarmed the guy defending himself. Thank you, police. Strouser was taken to the hospital, treated, then released. He was then taken to the Bosque County Jail on charges of attempted burglary of a habitation, criminal mischief, and criminal trespass. Attempted burglary? So ramming someone's home with a car is attempted burglary? BCSO said this wasn't a random incident and that the two involved knew each other. And no other details were released. All right, then we got another one. Man shot after climbing through window in North Toledo. Man was shot in the arm early Thursday morning after he reportedly climbed through his ex-girlfriend's window in North Toledo, police said. Antone Crawford, 35, told police he had climbed into the house in the 3200 block of Elm Street and was shot in the left arm, a report said. He then drove himself to Mercy Health St. Anne Hospitals, authorities said. Police responded to the hospital at about 4:30 a.m. about a person shot and found Mr. Crawford there. So again, I don't know. Maybe he was just going in for a booty call. Or maybe he was trying to hurt his ex-girlfriend. No idea. And we got one more. Name of 22-year-old suspect who died in town of Elderon, home invasion released. Marathon County Sheriff's Office has identified the 22-year-old suspect that was shot and killed by a homeowner during an armed robbery home invasion on Tuesday at a residence of Pike Lade Road in the town of Elderon as 22-year-old Alexander T. Waters of Wittenberg. According to the press release from Marathon County, based on the findings of the investigation, it is believed the suspect followed a 79-year-old man home from a local establishment, and there is no threat to the community. Yeah, because it seems like the old man took him out. That's why. Deputies from the Marathon County Sheriff's Office were dispatched at approximately 2:37 a.m. to a residence Pike Lake Road in the town of Elderon for a report of a man who was assaulted and stabbed as he exited his vehicle in his garage. The man was in possession of a firearm, and prior to the firearm being wrestled away from him, the 79-year-old homeowner sustained non-life-threatening injuries and is recovering at a local hospital. No additional information is expected in this case. Developments. I mean, that's terrifying. This guy follows you home and then he runs up on you when you're in your garage. we have one of those magnet holsters where it holds the gun is magnet to have a legal gun and a legal holster on your hip, and then to have your. All right, so play it, and it's unfortunate that the subway is now becoming Wakanda. Wearing gloves, face masks, hoods. I am avoiding you. Yeah, male. I traffic they're from. So I don't know what this guy's doing. Maybe he's rapping that they face every day. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. See these two people leave that, and they start attacking the guy. And as in true black fashion, once you fall on the ground, it's over. You're dead. I wish this guy had a piece and was able to air one of these guys out, because here's what they do. Kick them, stomp them, jump on them. Yeah. Yeah. That's a true Wakanda beatdown. So the subway's not safe in Philly anymore. Can't ride SEPTA anymore. And then what's fascinating now is DA Larry Krasner, who's also known as Uncle Larry. I guess the defunding the police wasn't going so well. Those are the numbers you see for the carjackings. But now Philly is creating an anti-carjacking task force. Wow, that's interesting. But I thought the police were racist and that they were slave patrols. I guess having your job being threatened from the Pennsylvania Supreme Court lit a little fire under Harry's ass that you're the district attorney. You're supposed to prosecute crime, not be the black community's fucking social worker.
Tonight, there's a carjacking crisis. The city of Philadelphia is taking a new approach as it deals with a dramatic rise in these violent robberies. Good evening, everyone. I'm Yuki Washington.
I'm Jessica Cartalia. The city is experiencing a record number of carjackings this year. Take a look at this. Going back to 2019, pre-pandemic, there were 224 carjackings reported in Philadelphia. Since that time, those numbers have exploded. So far this year, there are more than 1,300 carjackings.
And that is why the city is
Yeah, I wonder why the numbers shot up so high. Can anybody remember what happened in 2020? Was there any event that happened where suddenly the entire world said police were racist? Gee, I wonder what happened. I can't remember. Oh yeah, that's right. It was COVID.
Investigative unit to crack down on this violent crime. Carrie Corrado takes a closer look at the plan of action.
This is a special unit within the district attorney's office. They say it's all thanks to a $1.5 million budget increase from Philadelphia City Council.
Oh, the mostly black city council wants it to stop? I'm impressed.
It's a statistic that's headed in the wrong direction. Carjackings rising at an alarming rate. Philadelphia police reported a 54% increase from last year. In 2022 alone, there were more than 1,300 of them.
But there's a specific violent component and selfishness that comes with a carjacking, and it truly
The fucker right there.
puts everybody's sense of security and safety in danger.
He probably hates this so much. He sued the police department 75 times before he was elected prosecutor. And I can talk about what this lady's talking about. When she says selfishness, what she means is that most of the cars, I would say 95% of the carjackings that occur, they're not going to a chop shop. It's just for kicks. It's just for a ride. It's just for fun. It's just for clout in the neighborhood. There's no rhyme or reason. It's just because they want to and they can. And I always find it funny that everybody acts like they don't know the reason. God, it's almost like when they do a carjacking, they won't get prosecuted. But now suddenly they're realizing, wow, being soft on the black community doesn't work.
security and safety in danger, if not eradicating it completely.
The DA's office created a task force that will tackle carjacking-related prosecutions. The goal is to restore a sense of safety in the city.
This be a targeted, coordinated
Listen to the way a systematic problem. Yeah, that means it's mostly one group of people. Find me a video in Philadelphia of the Chinese kids performing a carjacking, of Indian kids performing a carjacking, of Ashkenazi small hats doing a carjacking. You're not going to find it. You're not.
Assistant District Attorney Helen Park will lead the unit and will work directly with the city's gun violence task force and the homicide and non-fatal shooting unit.
We are seeing more and more and more that when there is a fatal shooting or a non-fatal shooting, it is done in a car that does not belong to the people who are doing the shooting. It's part of how they hide their identities.
They commit a crime, but the first thing they do is they take a car to commit the crime in, and they dump the car. Yeah. Who didn't know that?
And while this is not going to be an easy task,
it is our hope we will be able to catch organizations, groups of people who work together. Yes.
Half the unit will handle adult cases. The other half will handle juvenile cases.
Yeah, but the question is, how are they going to handle the juvenile cases? Because you have kids as young as 12 and 13 in Philly committing carjackings. Do you hear me? 12 and 13. So the real question is, are you just going to let them out? Or are you going to actually do something and punish them? And I wanted to show how bad it's getting in Philly. This is from, I believe, August this year. Philadelphia Police Department has faced a critical shortage of officers for months, one that's all but certain to get worse as hundreds more cops plan to leave. With the police force already operating at about 20% below its target staffing level, more than 800 officers and civilian employees have set retirement dates within the next 4 years by enrolling in the city's deferred pension program. The decades-old program helps officials prepare for the departure of longtime employees by allowing city workers to begin collecting on pension benefits 4 years after they retire. Fresh pension records analyzed by the Inquirer show the number of police departments enrollees doubled in 4 years. The figures mean officers are leaving faster than the department can recruit them. The force is virtually guaranteed to see about 200 recruitments for each of the next 4 years. But this year, just 120 cadets will be eligible to graduate from the police academy. The wave of impending retirements comes atop nearly 600 existing officer vacancies, soaring resignations, and hundreds of injury claims that have taken more cops off active duty. All told, the force is already some 1,300 officers short of its full complement of 6,380. The growing officer shortage within one of the nation's largest police forces is colliding with the highest rates of gun violence. Highest rates of gun violence Philadelphia has seen in generations. Just say black community. I fixed it for you. Last year, there were 562 homicides, the most in recorded history, and so far this year, the pace has not slowed. Police Commissioner Daniel Outlaw invoked the staffing crisis following a West Philadelphia shooting that on Tuesday left 5 young men wounded and 100 shell casings outside a recreation center. Outlaw said adequate staffing allows police to have a more visible presence. We will never, ever be able to truly quantify how much violence would never occur, she said, if prospective officers see police in the area before they act. Yeah, but again, it's also when cops are leaving because they're not giving support, and when you arrest somebody, they're let go by Uncle Larry Krasner. He's being forced to do his job now, but anyway, the officer exodus coincided with both a political shift around policing and a broader trend of municipal workers leaving their jobs in drones. Outlaw has said for months that morale among officers is low, which she has attributed in part to politics and increased scrutiny. Oh yeah, that's what it is. It's not that you had a failed program in Seattle then moved here with more of your progressive bullshit, right, Outlaw? Yes, being black and female means you suddenly are able to tame the black community. Oh, no, you can't. This is a woman who's failed up her entire career because of melanin and genitalia. Ranks have dwindled in almost every unit, and the effects are noticeable. Police response times have slowed since 2020. Some officers were redeployed to boost patrol strength. Officers admit recruitment has faltered, blaming both the city's uniquely stringent hiring requirements and a nationwide shortage that has made the market for recruits more competitive. They emphasize that the problem isn't unique to Philadelphia. Police departments across the country have faced severe challenges recruiting officers, with some offering massive signing bonuses or retention pay. It's been very difficult across the country to have people wanting to get into policing and law enforcement, Mayor Jim Kenney said during a recent news conference. I can't force people to become police officers. Yeah, but you can force the police officers to defend you when there's a riot, right? You can force the news to go down to Fishtown and be upset at white people defending their property, right, Mayor Jim Kenney? Yeah, well, anyway, I just wanted to show some of that. I want to read that whole thing, just showing you that Philly is not some special place. They're suffering with recruitment. And it's always funny how they just can't pin the reason that, oh, you mean when you started letting criminals go and taking away the ability to punish them, police just said, fuck it? Is that really hard to understand? And of course, more people being mad at cops. Oh, the poor blacks. Oh, the poor blacks. I can't show the video because get my channel taken down. But basically, this cop was suspended after hitting a girl. NYPD cop suspended after pummeling 14-year-old girl during after-school fight, supposed to be breaking up. Now, I'll say this. I'll extend an olive branch here to the black community. Basically, this girl was in a fight, and a bunch of girls were around. So what black kids always do, fighting or pulling out their phones and laughing and jeering it on. These cops show up, try to break it up. I think this cop grabs this girl's sister, and she goes up to the cop and punches him in the face or slaps him or hits him. And the cop starts to wail on her. Not like full fist overhand strikes, kind of like the bottom part of his hand, like a hammer fist. And what I'll say is my understanding of the use of force or the force spectrum is that cops have, in my, at least every legal right to wail on you if that's what it takes to get you to comply while they're arresting you, right? You can't just walk up to a cop and attack them while they're making an arrest, okay? And this girl even admits that she punched the cop in the face. It just, the question, the gray area becomes, did the cop strike the girl too many times? Like, yeah, once or twice after she hits him in the face. Yeah, absolutely, sure. He's a cop. He's the authority figure. You know, just do as you're fucking told. He's making an arrest. He wasn't trying to murder the girl. He wasn't like, he wasn't trying to sexually assault her or anything. Yeah, at that point, yeah, sure, you got to stop the cop. I'm not saying the cops are infallible or omnipotent, but the cops were trying to stop the fight. He pulls the girl hits him. Okay, he hits her once or twice. That's enough. Then he arrests her. But point, it just seems like he's hitting her to just hit her because he's pissed off. It doesn't look like he's hitting her to stop her and arrest her. So it's kind of like, where do you draw the line there? But anyway, an NYPD officer has been suspended without pay after a viral video captured him punching a 14-year-old girl in the head during an after-school fight on Staten Island, prompting a swift rebuke from Mayor Eric Adams on Wednesday. Oh, of course, Mayor. Got to play ball for the black community, right, Mayor? Can't stand up for your police. During an unrelated appearance, Adams said he was not pleased with what I saw in the video, which was widely shared on social media. The footage showed the cop, identified by sources as Nicholas Scalzo, pummeling the teen as he and another officer tried to break up a brawl that broke out near Edwin Markham Middle School at around 2:45 p.m. on Tuesday. I jumped in, and the cops came and were supposed to be breaking it up, but the cops got into the fight. The girl, Kiana Robinson, told the Post on Wednesday from her Staten Island home. Then everybody was just in handcuffs, and my sister was in handcuffs, she said. And I went up to my sister and asked the cops, "What are you doing?" And he pushed me. And then I hit him 2 times. and then he hit me 11 times. Okay. So everybody wrong. So the cops are trying to break up a fight. Did he push her? I didn't see that in the video. I hit him 2 times and he hit me 11 times. Oh, here's our victim. I jumped in and the cops came, supposed to be breaking it up, but the cops got in a fight. I thought they would break it up. I didn't think they would get into the fight. The officers were there on a foot post near Willowbrook Road and Forest Avenue and intervened in a fight between 2 girls, the NYPD said. The videos showed the ensuing melee, with the now suspended cop seen unleashing a barrage of blows at the back of the girl's head as other students tried in vain to pull the teen away. Which is interesting because while the girls were fighting, you don't see the girls trying to stop it. But once the cop stops hitting the girl, once the cop starts wailing on the girl, then suddenly the other girls try to stop the fight. Isn't that interesting? So when they're fighting, it's cool. They'll cheer, they'll whip out their phones and film it and post it on TikTok. But when a cop is beating up a girl, now suddenly everybody else joins in the team and now becomes an act of tribalism. There was a fight between 2 girls. We tried to intervene, and it looks like one of the girls tried to stop us from intervening, an NYPD spokesman said. Yeah, so here he is. And here he is right here. He's grabbing her, and yeah, he is hitting her. And like I said, she does hit him. You see her hit him, and he hits her back. But the problem is he doesn't hit her and then try to arrest her. He just keeps wailing on her. So again, we've gone from the amount of force needed to stop the attack on the police officer to just him dishing it out himself, you know? And again, you know, these cops have a real hard job. I'm not trying to be a bootlicker, but we need the police, bro. We need the police. I mean, Chicago is already turning into, you know, a purge, and the more and more cops are hamstrung, the more and more violence is going to get. Imagine if these cops weren't there, this fight would have gone on forever. Because again, all I see are members of one community having to stop the black community from and save them, the black community from themselves. Like it always is. And here's the cop. They tried to handcuff one of the girls and someone was pulling at them. Adams says the cops' body cams were now being reviewed as part of the internal probe into the incident. A young girl was being jumped by 2 other children and the police intervened. It was NYPD, not school safety agents. And so we're going to look at the body cam of the police officers. We're going to use the video that was posted on Instagram. That's when it first came to my attention and of my understanding. The police commissioner swiftly suspended the officer that was involved. The 2 girls, 12 and 14, were arrested and later released without criminal charges as the probe continues, cops said. I got a knot on my head, Kiana said. I still have migraines. I can feel where the knot on my head is without touching it. If you are going to have officers like police officers, you should know that they're going to do the right thing, that they're not going to beat up on a 14-year-old, she said. Yeah, but you attacked the officer. You punched the officer 2 times in the face. And again, this lack of accountability and lack of self-reflection, you know, oh my God, they punched me back? Yeah. Should it have been 11 times? No, probably not. I have to keep saying that. She said her kid sister, Kayla, had been trying to break up the schoolyard fisticuffs when the cops showed up. It's upsetting, the girl's mother, Tanisha Robinson, said Wednesday. I mean, it's really upsetting to see a man hit a woman. Don't give me that fucking patriarchy shit. But even more so to see a grown man hitting a 14-year-old girl. Hey, you acted like a man. You got treated like one. I don't know what to tell you. Should he have treated you that much like one? No. But was he allowed to hit you once or twice to stop you from hitting him? Abso-fucking-lutely. And then just even more upsetting, that grown man is a police officer who's supposed to be out there protecting women and children. Yeah. Well, then why don't you tell that to your fucking community? Your girls... Listen to this bullshit. When girls fight girls and film it and beat each other up and almost kill each other, it's okay. But when somebody intervenes and treats you like you treat them, now you got a fucking problem. Go fuck yourself. It's shocking, she told the Post. You don't expect that. The NYPD's Internal Affairs Bureau investigated, said the officer, who had not been publicly identified, was suspended without pay for up to 30 days. A police source said the 14-year-old hit the police officer first, but acknowledged that the amount of force against the preteen was extreme. Yeah, I said that. If you watch the body-worn camera, it's just complete mayhem, the source said. I guess the officer overreacted. She hits him first, and then he responds by striking her more than once. That's problematic. Police Benevolent Association President Patrick Lynch warned against a rush to judgment based on a few seconds of video. What is clear at this point is that these police officers were trying to break up a violent altercation when they themselves were assaulted, Lynch said. What is needed now is a thorough investigation of the entire circumstances, not just what has been posted online. Scalzo was previously injured during a scuffle between revelers and police on Mariners Harbor in August 2013, suffering a concussion and cut to the hand after he was kicked and knocked to the ground during the melee. He hung up on a Post reporter when reached by phone Wednesday. Yeah, so I mean, like I said, these girls were fighting. This girl claims to try to step in and stop it. Cops intervene. They try to arrest the girl. According to her, she says, "What are you doing?" And then she says he was pushed. You do see her hit him twice in the video, and then he just hits her like 11 times. So I mean, I don't know what to say. Like, did he hit her too many times? Yeah, I said that, but should you hit a cop and not expect the cop to hit you back? I mean, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. All right, and our last two parts here, and they're coming for the kids. Former patient of Miami sex change surgeon Dr. Sida Gallagher come forward after gruesome post-op complications. The Miami gender surgeon who specializes in amputating the healthy breasts of teenage girls and young women and advertises her services directly to vulnerable young people via social media is facing backlash from several former patients who say they experienced severe post-op complications. Dr. Siba Gallagher, the celebrity surgeon who jokingly refers to herself as Dr. Titus Deletus, has been under increased scrutiny since one of her obese trans-identified biological female patients told the harrowing tale of experiencing life-threatening complications after going under Gallagher's knife. A Daily Wire investigation from Christina Buttons has since uncovered 5 more overweight former patients claiming to have suffered similar complications following bilateral mastectomies performed by Gallagher. Given the increased risk of complications when operating on overweight people, most plastic surgeons have a BMI cap for elective surgeries. Gallagher, on the other hand, had no such requirement. She is willing to operate on patients of any shape and size, and according to the Daily Wire report, her own published research indicates that around 54% of her patients are obese. In an effort to be as inclusive as possible, we do not have an absolute cutoff BMI requirement for patients who are interested in undergoing top surgery. Oh, that's right, because being fat is a social construct too, right? Yeah, I guess that atherosclerosis or that, cardiac or that myocardial infarction you suffer from or heart attack, that's just a social construct too, right? Yeah, when they do the autopsy and they find that your arteries are back clogged with 90% plaque, that's just a social construct, right? BMI is not real science. I love these fucking people. Reads the information section on Gallagher's website, which goes on to claim that Gallagher specializes in providing top surgery to higher BMI patients and ensuring safe and natural results. Rylan, whose gruesome story went viral on several social media platforms last month, was one of these obese patients. The young trans-identified female had traveled from Ohio to Florida from the procedure after being unable to find a surgeon closer to home who was willing to perform it. Complications started on day 4 with the appearance of a hematoma, and things got progressively worse when the incision opened, became infected, and started to rot. Rylan alleges that Gallagher didn't take the complications seriously, even, true to style, had a cutesy name for the gaping wound, a blowhole. Oh, man. So this doctor, this Mengele, is just an overgrown child. The nightmare ended with the youth having over half a foot of dead, rotting tissue removed after weeks of agonizing pain. But after Ryland's story went viral, Buttons reports that several other obese former patients of the celebrity gender-affirming, which isn't real, surgeon recounted their own alleged tales of complications in a private 32,000-member Facebook group for top surgery patients. The trans-identified female from Oregon with a BMI of 55.8, which is classified as super morbid obese, turned to Gallagher for breast amputation after a local surgeon required a weight loss of 25 pounds prior to surgery. Oh, the poor baby. You mean you had to actually shut your mouth and eat less? You had to eat less and move more? Well, that sounds terrible. Anybody remember that Mad TV skit? This patient, like Ryland, developed a large blowhole 6 days post-op. So the same effect, just on a different person. As in Ryland's case, the young patient reports that Gallagher brushed off concerns and instead advised letting it drain. 3 More, they're coming for the kids. Sorry about that little internet difficulty. Plus, this is just depressing. It's coming out of Ireland. Redux. Galway's first openly LGBT counselor resigns following grooming abuse allegations. Counselor in Galway, Ireland, has resigned following allegations he groomed and sexually abused a teen boy. On January 1st, a survivor came forward and posted 2 videos to his Twitter detailing his experience with Galway City Councillor Owen Hanley. In the videos, the survivor, who goes by the name Jamie McGoya Bain on Twitter, states he had been groomed by Hanley started from when he was just 16 years old. I am a victim of sexual abuse, catfishing, and underage grooming. Owen Hanley did this to me. Mr. Hanley operated a fake Twitter account under the name Irish Jock, using the handle @LeftMuscle. Bain recounts. He posed as a teenager and reached out to me on Twitter, knowing who I was from previous engagements in the Social Democrats. Bain then states that Hanley had coerced him into sending explicit photos of himself beginning from when he was just 16 years old to February of 2022. The survivor says he confronted Hanley about the abuses, and while Hanley denied any knowledge of Bain's claims, immediately after the fake accounts Hanley had allegedly operated were wiped from Twitter. As of the writing of this article, @LeftMuscle appears to have been deactivated, and sparse captures exist in the Internet Archive. Bain's videos picked up considerable attention in Ireland, and on January 4th, Hanley announced his resignation from the post representing Galway City East for the Irish Social Democrats. In a Facebook post, Hanley wrote, "In the past 48 hours, certain allegations have been made about me. These are very serious matters and will obviously take a considerable length of time to be investigated fully by the appropriate authorities." Hanley has since set his Twitter account to private. Here's the pedophile. "In the past 48 hours, certain allegations have been made about me. These are very serious matters and will obviously take a considerable length of time to be investigated fully by the appropriate authorities. In these circumstances, I believe that the correct thing for me to do is to resign my members of Galway City Council. I don't propose to make any further comment in relation to the matters." The Social Democrats have also released a short statement claiming that they notified the relevant statutory authorities charged with investigating these allegations as soon as it became aware of them. Hanley was first elected in 2019 and made waves as Galway's first openly LGBT councillor, as well as the youngest politician elected to the council. He was also the first member of the Social Democrats elected in the county. According to a 2019 Galway Daily profile, Hanley was described as a well-known activist who sought to be a role model for members of the LGBT community. Soon after being elected, Hanley went head-to-head with a medical whistleblower who had attempted to warn Ireland's health authority against allowing clinicians to refer Irish children to the Tavistock Gender Clinic in the United Kingdom. Oh, no way. He had issues with people not wanting their children's genitals to be cut off. Oh, I'm so surprised. Consultant endocrinologist Professor Donna O'Shea had become concerned that the medical transitioning services that Tavistock were offering were unsafe for children. Professor O'Shea also asserted that a significant percent of trans-identified individuals needed mental health care. In response, Henley slammed O'Shea, calling him the barrier for trans people seeking the health care they need to improve their lives. Oh, God. Why does every FAGGOT support mutilating children? I don't understand that. Pedophiles will support other pedophiles. Monsters will always support other monsters. Is this hard to understand? On Twitter, Hanley wrote that O'Shea's claims were absolute unscientific nonsense. Continuing, Professor O'Shea is ignoring international best practice, clearly acting as a gatekeeper against people's best wishes, mistrusting and misunderstanding trans people. Professor O'Shea should not be in charge of whether or not people can access trans health care. It's not health care. It's genital mutilation. In July of last year, it was announced that Tavistock will be shutting its doors by spring of 2023. The decision was announced following a damning investigation into the clinic's practices, prompted by multiple whistleblowers coming forward to express concerns. Yeah, so that's another story of another alleged pedophile who's a groomer. No way. So surprising. So anyway, I'm big time, and that's news to me.